I need to know, what is your favorite way to count down to Christmas? I've seen some people do the advent calendars. I've seen some people do like a little marker with like Santa Claus or little like snowmen, kind of like move down a little countdown like calendar with little pockets that it like moves across in. And I've seen some people do like different like countdown days where like little blocks kind of come out and change as you get closer to Christmas. Well, when I grew up, my mom always got us a paper advent calendar, and we would open the little windows, and it was always such fun. And even though there were so many of us, there were 6 of us, I think that we all took turns, and we were so excited whenever it was our turn to open the little window. And kind of after I became an adult, I realized that some of these had chocolate behind them or in them, and I was just like, what? We never experienced that. I don't know if maybe my mom was smart in knowing that there were 6 of us. Whoever got the piece of chocolate would be kind of end up creating this whole rouse of like jealousy for, like whose turn it was to open it that night. And so maybe she just took out the chocolate prior to us actually starting the calendar. So I was looking for something very like something that would be easy and create memories and kind of help me, my family, kind of count down to Christmas and be fun to do with my sons. And I came across this idea. So I cannot take credit for it. My sister actually told me this after I had my cowboys, and the idea is to get a new book every Christmas, and then each year you read those books, however many you have. Ideally you have 25, so you can start this on December 1st. So you have books to read the same every year, all part of a Christmas theme. And so I'm going to go through the books that I have and kind of tell you ones that I'm adding to our collection. But the idea that when she first presented me with this idea, she would actually wrap them every year for her kids to unwrap the book gift. And the novelty of it was unwrapping a book and they didn't know which book they were unwrapping. It wasn't the fact like, oh, they're unwrapping a, new book that they've never read before. There's actually some like nostalgia associated with unwrapping a book that you already know and love because you don't know which book you're going to be reading that night. So when I started doing it, I also was wrapping my books, but this year, now that I'm working full time and my kids are in school and our nights are so short between like the date time we get home and like rushing for dinner and then bedtime, I think I might forgo wrapping them, or maybe we'll just wrap the books that we're reading right before Christmas. So I definitely do not have 25 books yet, but I did add a book to our book collection this year. So the first one I will say, and I'll kind of go from like younger grade books up to older grade books, because I do have I want a range because obviously they're going to grow. But some of the younger books I think are still kind of fun to read as you age. Like there's again, that nostalgia there. So the first one that I have is The Silent / Noisy Night. And this one is so fun to read. Obviously it is geared towards littles because it's a board book, but instead you kind of go through and, it does rhyme, so it has this really nice pentameter, but it kind of goes where it does all of these different sounds, and it ends with oh yes, it could have been a silent night, but it was most likely a noisy one for everyone celebrating, Jesus's birth and stuff like that. And so you kind of end with a modern day nativity scene. So I love this one. If you're looking for a book for younger kids, I highly recommend this one. Then the other one that we did get this one relatively early, was Twas the Night, the Nativity Story. So this follows the same pentameter as Twas the Night Before Christmas. The pictures on this are also really beautifully done too. They are a little bit more elementary level as far as the pictures go. I did buy this one used, so it has a really nice inscription from the family that initially purchased it, and then the year that they bought it for their family. So I thought that was like kind of sweet. Um, but yeah, this one is also a big favorite, and I'm always looking for new books to kind of like add to my collection because I like I said, I don't have 25, but I think next year I'll probably buy like 2 or 3 books. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know, especially because like I'm all for a good book. This year I ended up purchasing The Crippled Lamb. So my sons and I haven't read this one yet. One thing that I did notice about it is this is just like my initial perception. It kind of stuck out to me because the colors are like not watercolor, like painted. So they are really beautiful, and I'm kind of a sucker for a really good illustration. So I just thought that was really nicely done. But one thing that I thought when I saw this, it was totally my impression. So I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I felt like whoever illustrated this book, it kind of feels like maybe she illustrated, I think it's a female that illustrated it. Let's see. Yeah, Liz. It feels almost like she had certain people that she knew and then she tried to paint them into her book because everyone just like, I don't know, the faces feel very unique, like they feel very real, but also everyone is very fair and very pale. And that's one thing I did appreciate about both of these other nativity stories is everyone's a little bit more ethnically, I feel like, accurate. Whereas this one, and maybe it's just because I've been looking at these for so many years, when I opened this one, I was like, whoa, everyone looks so fair. um, I don't think this is ethnically correct, but that's okay. It's about the story, right? So we'll see how my cowboy, what they think of this one, because we haven't read that one yet. And then we have some classics. Of course, we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I mean, can you go wrong with this one? They do get really excited every time we read this one. And I forgot how, once I got it, I forgot how every single page is either it's black, white, and red. And maybe that's just because I remember watching like the movie, the illustration that kind of copies the book, that movie, where everything's so brightly colored and there's, like just a wide variety. And then kind of seeing this, I was like, oh wait, this whole book is black and red and white. So I thought that was, I don't know, just interesting. And then of course we have the classic Twas the Night Before Christmas. I have been reading this book every Christmas since I was a little girl. Like my mom, we did not really celebrate Santa all that much. When I was a kid, that's a kind of conversation for a different day, so I won't ruin it if you have kids around. But every night, before Christmas, we would read this book, and so I just kind of felt like that sense of nostalgia, like I needed to do that as I grew up. And when I saw the illustrations in this book, I had to buy it. Out of all of the books that I've seen with this story, this is by far my favorite. It just feels so, I don't know, just like so picture perfectly, like quintessential. I mean, can you go wrong with that? I love this book. And the Santa character, oh my goodness, the reindeer are gorgeous, but the Santa character feels like he embodies Santa himself. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of my favorites. Is that one. And of course we have the Polar Express. We also have the movie, but I'm not a big fan of the movie. I know that it's now like considered a classic and some people love it. But it's just, it just weirds me out. It feels just like, this is not quite right. And also there's that weird scene in it with like the toys in the toy car. Like, that stuff of nightmares. I mean, and that part's not even in the book, so why is that in the movie? Um, so there is reading this book. It is interesting watching the movie and kind of seeing like different pictures from the illustration be represented in the actual movie. So that's, I think, kind of, I do enjoy that part, but that movie kind of creeps me out. Let me know if I'm the only one over here sitting in my corner that feels that way, because my husband's also like, it's kind of weird too. Then we also have some books that are very like symbolic for the season. So we have Why Christmas Trees Aren't Perfect. I did get this one from my sister, so it is greatly loved. So this one kind of talks about like a tale of the Christmas tree, and it kind of talks about like how one Christmas tree was trying to grow to be perfect so that way you can be selected by the princess, and the tree ended up kind of like sheltering a whole bunch of animals, and so it ended up like not being as perfect as the other trees around it, and then that tree ended up selected to be in like the princess's castle. And so it's just a really good story of giving of oneself during this time, and how like a Christmas tree can symbolize that for us at Christmas. This one's also The Legend of the Christmas Tree. This one's a little bit for like older. Like I would say this one too. Like this one's more wordy. It's not a long read, but I mean, you can see kind of like the typeface of that. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get through. And same with this one too. This one it's not as a, this one, it's more of like a story of a family. So you kind of follow the family, and they learn about like how, like the ancestry of the Christmas tree, kind of like how Christmas trees ended up in our home at Christmas and what they symbolize and kind of what they're intended for. And it's kind of funny because the dad in it starts out as a little bit like a Grinch character, kind of like he's like, oh, I really hate, that Christmas is like consumerism and stuff like that, which is kind of funny because my husband's very much the same way. So I always kind of think of him at the end. And then once he learns like why the Christmas tree, and he and his family learn all that at the end, he's like very excited about getting the Christmas tree and kind of participating in that aspect of the Christmas season. So I kind of like seeing that change in him because it's very reminiscent of my husband being very much the same way. And then we also have The Candymaker's Gift. I think we got this one. Yes, we got this one last year. So again, just like the legend of the candy cane, also, much more so geared towards like kids that are a little bit older. I think this one will really be perfect for my second grader this year, even though we did read it last year. Since it's a little bit of a longer story, it didn't quite capture their attention quite as, like, they weren't quite as excited about reading this one as they are like The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. This book I had from when I was a kid, actually. It's The Innkeeper's Daughter. So it's from her perspective of seeing and having Mary and Joseph come to the inn, and obviously, having Christmas happen in her backyard. What I appreciate about this book, and what I actually find is super interesting about it, is that it's not just the one night of Christmas. It actually, so you see kind of as a narration of, the birth of Jesus, and then the shepherds coming in. And then like 3 years later, you have like the wise men that show up, and then Mary and Joseph like fleeing. So I did not as a kid appreciate this book or this story, but as an adult, I really appreciate the fact that it kind of like shows that length of time, because a lot of times when we hear the Christmas story, we kind of feel like it happened in a really short time span, and that may not have actually been reality. And then also when I was a kid, I did not appreciate the illustration in this book. There's like a lot of movement in the illustrations, and I just thought that it was like so oddly done. Like you can see there, like it looks like she's like in motion. But now that I'm an adult, I really just find them, so interesting, and I just appreciate the artistry of it. So like here, like all of the shepherds look like young boys coming in to see. So I think my sons will appreciate that too. Like, and some of the faces too always weirded me out as a kid because like, don't they look just so expressive? So that's that one. And then the last two books I have are much more mature, like kind of books that I wanted to have, even though I'll read portions of them to my sons. I was like, they probably won't care until they're much older, if at all. So this one is The Christmas Carol and Other Christmas Tales. And so it has like different poems and different stories. Like I think it has the Nutcracker in here as well as the Christmas Carol. I thought that the Christmas Carol story was much longer than it actually is. Like it's only it's like less than 100 pages in this book, which I was surprised by. So it has The Doll That Santa Claus Brought. It has Old Christmas, The Nutcracker and the Mouse King, and then different poems and stuff like that. So like very old-timey kind of stories. And then the illustrations feel very much the same way. Like this is one from, what is it? Oh, The Christmas Carol. Like, can you see that? Like it just feels like you're cracking open a book that was written, like so long ago. And there's also some black and white illustrations. And so yeah, I have this. When I got this, I wasn't working. I got it as a Christmas present, I think. And so my thought was like, oh, it would be so nice to like read one story, every Christmas after my cowboys go to bed, like, and that can like be my little Christmas tradition. And now that I'm working, I'm just like, yeah, that's not happening. But it is something that I'm like, oh, it would still be fun to do, like eventually down the road. It's definitely not going to be feasible right now, and that's okay. Like my season of life can change. But yeah, it also has some like old poems and stuff, definitely written in a manner that you would not, talk nowadays either. So that's super fun too. Like this one, On the Way. I don't know that I've ever heard that poem. And then we have this one. This one's Christmas, the rest of the story. So again, kind of going very much with the whole like Christmas theme. This has just like some outstanding questions, like why did God choose Joseph? And also very beautifully illustrated. So it has like some historical text and some like biblical references and like some of the questions, like I already kind of know, like what are swaddling clothes and what is a manger? So, like, again, gorgeous pictures, but like I kind of already know that question. So yeah, this I think was more so like outside of my own reading interest, kind of things that answers to questions that I could possibly see my kids asking as they get older and as they become more mature with the Christmas story, that how kids come up with the most unique questions, and I want to have a resource that I can be like, well, I don't know, or maybe it's answered in here, or sometimes just having like extra layers to the story that is not always provided to us in biblical text is super helpful. So that's kind of why I got that. I haven't read the whole thing, but I've really enjoyed what I have read. So we'll do that for Christmas. Like I said, I won't be wrapping all of these, but I will probably wrap a few as we get closer to Christmas. And since I don't have 25, like what I may do is just start our Christmas reading a little bit later in December. But then the other thing that we did growing up was we would do Advent. And I think this is mostly like a Catholic tradition. I don't know. Let me know. But what we would do with Advent is we would read a chapter of the Bible or like a portion of the story every Sunday and light a candle. And my mom never had different colored candles, but I guess you can get different colored candles to represent different themes while the story is being read. And I think now my kids are at the point where we probably won't be doing this every Sunday, but what I would like to do is bring out my nativity set. I have like a nativity set that's a little bit more delicate, but I really wanted to have one where Jesus is not in the manger, like you can take him in and out, and kind of like as we tell the story, and I have like a red camping lantern, a kerosene camping lantern that I think I'm going to put on the table, so that way it kind of feel a little bit more like we're reading by candlelight, and read the story and have that lit, and then have them give them access to the more mature nativity set, and then let them create the story as it's being read to them. So that'll be I think that'll be a kind of a fun tradition to start this year, in addition to reading all of the books, to just kind of like help them understand like there's more to Christmas than just presents, which they know already, but it's just good to help reinforce those values as they grow. So yeah, I'd love to hear how you count down Christmas, or what different traditions you like to implement in with your kids, or what you did as a child, even if you don't have any kids yet. And I hope to continue this conversation in the comments, but if not, then hopefully we'll hang out again soon.